This video today will be about Duane Lett, who was the owner and co-founder of the website, the DLChillspot.net. Now, in this video, I will be covering, what happened with his unaliving and the theories and suspicions that are out there surrounding, why he was unalived. Because as of today, 2026, nobody has been charged with his unaliving. I don't even think that the police have a few suspects, that they had in mind. It is even being said by some sites that the police never really fully investigated. They looked at Duane Lett's unaliving as, it could be anybody because he made a lot of enemies type thing. So this is just what's being said on the street, so you got to keep up with me. So let's talk about it. Now, Duane Lett started selling DVDs initially. He literally was the, producer or director of what we call seedy adult film content. It was very seedy, very low quality. He in the background talking, walking and coaching them through it, saying, hey, if you want this $50, you will do a little bit more, because supposedly these men were on the down low. Some of them were supposedly straight and had never been with men. But anyway, that's the type of content that he produced, and he would sell his DVDs in the village for as low as $17 a DVD. When his DVDs started to get a little traction and people started whispering like, oh my God, you all ought to see this DVD I bought. These are nothing but straight men, and they're having intimacy with other men for the very first time right on camera. It started to blow up because it started to even get bigger than websites such as Broke Straight Boys and Black Boy Addictions. And if you think about, so if you want to have an idea of what kind of content he produced, he was the opposite of Broke Straight Boys, which pandered to white boys that were jocks, that, that were supposedly straight, and it was their first time doing something with other men on film. Well, he was the African-American version. He had these DL thugs that this was their first time supposedly doing something on film. Now, once he, realized there was traction and there was a market for it, he did, this supposedly was his downfall. He created a website and made deals with other production companies, with these different websites. And that's when his content started to go viral, and that's when he started to go downhill. So let's get into it. We'll talk about the unaliving, and we will talk about the many conspiracies that are out there. And I'll just insert a little bit of my opinion about which conspiracies I believe and which ones I don't. When Duane Lett was unalived in 2014, tongues went to wagging. This became, I can honestly say, one of the crimes of the LGBT decade. People wanted to know who was behind this, who could have done this. You had a lot of people that expressed delight in his death. They felt like he brought it on himself. He deserved it because he played with fire and he got burned. They said when you're dealing with DL men, who have a secret to protect, and you're putting them all on websites without their consent, you got what was coming to you. While you have a lot of people that express, sympathy, said he will be missed, and said that what was being said about him was very inaccurate. He was a very caring man, and unlike a lot of other producers that work in adult film, he actually cared about his models. Some saying that, he provided them with homes, provided them with money, took them in, when they didn't have nowhere to go. You just said, some people just say he had a big heart and he did not deserve it, and felt like his death was the result of a hate crime. And then you just had a lot of people that just wanted to know what happened, and that's where the conspiracy theory started. Now, one of the ongoing theories that's being speculated by at least 80% of the LGBT community is that one of the ex-models was disgruntled because they didn't like their pay, or they felt exploited or felt exposed after he took the business to the website. When he created the website and it got a broader audience, said a lot of, homophobic women or, messy gay people started exposing these DL men or whatever, and they felt like one of the ex-models took him out. Or, one of the current models that he was working with took him out. I'm going to tell you why I don't believe that. Because depending on who you talk to, the story changed from day to day. You got some people that said that those models were not on a down low. at all. They said a lot of those models pretended to be on a down low or pretended to be straight acting, straight appearing, and that they were only, being intimate with another man on camera, pretending to do it for the first time. But they said it was all an act for the camera and for content purposes. Said in real life, those men were very comfortable with themselves and were very out. That's what some sources say. But then you do have some sources that said, no, some of those men actually were straight. And if you look at some of the earlier content, you can see that they were pretending. If you look at some of the earlier content on the chillspot.net site, some of them were pretending to, be intimate. Like they were dry humping. They would pretend to be giving another man head, but you would never see anything go in a person's mouth. It was that type of stuff. So you got to take that with a grain of salt, because again, if these men weren't really DL, why would they want to unalive him? So you take that, you drop in the comment section if you believe that theory or not. There is another theory out there, and I'm just going to give you a heads up. This is a theory that I am leaning towards believing. But there are sources that said that weeks before Duane Lett was unalived, he had started telling close friends and family members that he had started taking extra safety precautions because he felt like his life was in jeopardy. And that was because it's being alleged that a lot of, Blood and Crip gang members were actually threatening him because he was having some of his models say, on camera, on film, that, they were part of the Blood gang, they were part of the Crip gang. And a lot of the Blood and Crip leaders felt like, you will not be associating our gang with your, LGBT, adult film content. You're not going to do that. We don't play that. You know what I'm saying? First of all, we don't even know these men. They're not real Blood members or real Crip members, so don't do that. And said he would not stop it. So it is believed that one of the Blood or Crip leaders unalived him because he kept trying to affiliate his, his gay adult film content with their gang, and they were not pleased with that. I can honestly believe that. I don't know why. That to me makes a lot more sense than one of his ex-models was just disgruntled and took his life. When, again, depending on who you talk to, they said he was so nice to his models and took them in. I don't know. Like I said, you do with it what you will. But that is one, theory that's out there, that a member of the Blood or Crip took him out because they got tired of him mentioning that on his websites, on his DVDs, and having his models even claim and rep Blood and Crip while they were filming gay content. There is another theory out there that says that Duane Lett did some very underhanded, shady business with other websites. They said that, he had sold rights to a lot of his adult film that he had recorded, sold them the rights, and got paid bukus of money under the guise of his content that he sold them was exclusive. And he did this to multiple, companies that he partnered with, that this was exclusive, only for them to find out that some of these content that he lied and said was exclusive was on other websites free of charge. Anybody could go on these free websites and download his content that he claimed was so exclusive. And they said when the owner of these companies that had paid him all this money, thinking that they were getting exclusive DL content, found out about this, they were livid, and it's believed that one of them unalives him. That's a good theory too. So what do you think about that? And the final theory that's out there that I kind of believe is a possibility is that whoever took ownership of whoever his business partners were, whoever, stood to gain ownership of those websites that he was being paid hefty for after he died, that's who possibly had him unalive. They said if you follow the money, you may find a person who was responsible for his death, because they said months, some even speculate years after he was gone, that people were still subscribing to these websites and somebody was getting paid bukus of money from these subscriptions way after Duane Lett died. So this has been a story of Duane Lett, the person of the DL Chill Spot. This is all I have. Drop in the comment section. What do you think? Which one of those conspiracies do you believe? Sorry it took me so long to get this information out to you all. Hope you enjoyed the